The annual family business dinner at Uncle Jack's mansion was a testament to old money and older attitudes. Crystal chandeliers cast judgmental shadows across the 20-seat mahogany dining table, each place setting worth more than my first computer. Oil paintings of stern-faced Peterson ancestors watched from gilded frames, their disapproving expressions eerily similar to my living relatives' faces. "So, David," Uncle Jack swirled his 1982 Bordeaux in a glass that probably cost more than my monthly rent. "Still playing with your little computer project? What do you call it again?" His casual dismissal carried 3 decades of Silicon Valley executive weight behind it. "QuantumFlow Technologies," I replied quietly, taking a sip of water. They'd forgotten to pour me wine again, assuming I couldn't contribute to Uncle Jack's precious collection. The crystal water glass felt heavy with irony, worth hundreds, filled with tap water, served to the failing nephew. Right, he chuckled, the sound echoing off imported Italian marble floors. "The revolutionary AI system that's going to change cloud computing. How's that working out for you?" Around the massive dining table, my successful family members exchanged knowing smirks. Cousin Peter, fresh from making partner at his law firm, barely concealed his laughter behind a forkful of Wagyu beef. Aunt Margaret adjusted her Harry Winston diamond necklace with practiced condescension, while her daughter Emma tapped away at her phone, probably updating her rich kids of Silicon Valley Instagram. "We're making progress," I said simply, not mentioning the breakthrough we'd achieved last week in our quantum coherence maintenance system. The one that had Silicon Valley's biggest players scrambling to schedule meetings. The one that had turned our modest garage facility into the most advanced quantum computing lab on the West Coast. Dad cleared his throat, setting down his golden-rimmed plate. "Son, maybe it's time to consider joining the family business. We always need good people in our tech department. Peterson Solutions has been a Valley staple for 30 years. Entry-level position," Uncle Jack added magnanimously, gesturing with his wine glass. "But room to grow if you work hard. Like I did, starting from nothing but a Harvard MBA and a small $10 million loan from your grandfather." I glanced around at the evidence of their superior business acumen, the $22 million mansion bought with their traditional software company's profits, the fleet of luxury cars in the circular driveway, the authentic Picasso that screamed old money success. All built on soon-to-be obsolete technology. "I'm comfortable where I am," I replied, cutting into my perfectly cooked but deliberately smaller portion of beef. Another subtle reminder of my perceived status. "Comfortable?" Cousin Peter scoffed, his Rolex catching the light as he reached for his 3rd glass of wine. "Living in that tiny Mountain View apartment paying yourself minimum wage? Meanwhile, my first-year associates make more than you've seen in your life. What was it last year? 40,000. 42, I corrected, not mentioning the $8 billion in venture capital offers we turned down last month. Let them think I was struggling. It made tonight's news even sweeter. Mom touched my arm sympathetically, her diamond tennis bracelet cool against my skin. "We're just worried about you, dear. It's been 3 years. 3 years of watching his college classmates succeed while he chases some fantasy," Uncle Jack interrupted, signaling the housekeeper for another bottle of wine. "What was it you said your technology does? Makes computers think faster." "It's a quantum-based AI architecture that revolutionizes cloud computing efficiency through coherent state manipulation and advanced qubit stabilization," I explained, knowing they wouldn't understand, or try to. "We've achieved sustained quantum coherence at room temperature." "Right," Peter smirked, exchanging glances with Emma. "Magic computers." Meanwhile, my firm just landed the Thomson account. 8 figures minimum. Real money, cousin, not theoretical physics. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I checked it discreetly under the table, my heart rate picking up as I read the message from my lead developer. "Final offer approved. Paperwork ready. Amazon CEO confirms personal attendance." "At least tell me you're finally looking for real investors," Uncle Jack pressed, his Silicon Valley veteran mask slipping to reveal genuine irritation. "That seed money you turned down last year was undervalued," I finished. "The generous investment they'd offered would have bought half my company for a fraction of its worth." They'd been furious when I declined, especially after Uncle Jack had talked it up at his country club. "Undervalued." He nearly choked on his wine, spots of red appearing on his cheeks. "We offered you $500,000 for that worthless code. Best offer you'll ever get for your little science project. Another buzz from my phone. This time it was my quantum physics team. Amazon's lawyers have finished the due diligence. Final valuation confirmed at 7.2 B. They're ready. Speaking of value, I said carefully, watching Uncle Jack top off everyone's wine except mine. How's the family company's cloud computing division doing? I heard Oracle's been eating into your market share. Uncle Jack waved his hand dismissively, but I caught the flash of worry in his eyes. Traditional solutions for traditional businesses. Not everyone needs fancy AI bells and whistles. Our clients appreciate stability. Of course not, I agreed mildly, thinking of the exodus of clients I knew was coming. Though I hear Amazon disagrees. Their new quantum initiative is quite ambitious. Amazon. Dad's fork paused halfway to his mouth. Years of tech industry experience recognizing the weight of that name. What about Amazon? Before I could answer, the crunch of tires on imported gravel caught everyone's attention. Through the floor-to-ceiling dining room windows, we could see several black Mercedes S-Class vehicles pulling into the circular driveway, led by a distinctive Tesla Model S with government plates. Expecting someone? Aunt Margaret asked Uncle Jack, perfectly plucked eyebrows rising toward her expertly Botoxed forehead. No, The housekeeper appeared at the door looking flustered. Sir, there are some executives here from Amazon Web Services. They're asking for Mr. David Peterson, and they have the Amazon CEO with them. The sound of Uncle Jack's precious wine glass slipping from his fingers seemed to happen in slow motion, the crystal shattering against marble in perfect synchronization with their shattering assumptions about their failing relative. The dining room fell silent as Sarah Mitchell, AWS head of acquisitions, strode in, her Louboutin heels clicking purposefully on the marble. Behind her came a procession that made Uncle Jack's wine-stained face go pale. The Amazon CEO himself, flanked by their top quantum computing executives, 2 senior VPs, and a team of lawyers carrying sleek briefcases. Mr. Peterson, Sarah smiled professionally, her tailored Chanel suit making Aunt Margaret's designer outfit suddenly look provincial. I apologize for interrupting your dinner, but given the magnitude of the announcement, we felt a personal touch was appropriate. Magnitude? Uncle Jack demanded, wine still dripping from his trembling hands. What announcement? David, what have you done? The Amazon CEO stepped forward, his casual tech executive attire a deliberate contrast to my family's formal dinner wear. Mr. Peterson has done something remarkable. He's revolutionized quantum computing. He turned to me with genuine respect. The paperwork is ready whenever you are. I stood up calmly, straightening my jacket, the same one they'd mocked as looking cheap earlier. The acquisition of QuantumFlow Technologies by Amazon Web Services, I explained to my stunned family. Though perhaps we should move to Uncle Jack's study for the details. Acquisition. Peter spluttered, his legal mind struggling to process the power dynamics shifting before his eyes. What acquisition? Sarah pulled out a sleek tablet. The paperwork is ready for your final review, Mr. Peterson. 7.2 billion as agreed. Plus the performance incentives we discussed. The sound of Dad's wine glass shattering on the marble floor echoed through the suddenly silent room, followed by Mom's muffled gasp. 7.2. Aunt Margaret's perfectly manicured hand clutched her pearls, her face draining of color. Billion, the Amazon CEO confirmed, seeming to enjoy the dramatic reveal. Though that's just the initial payment. The performance incentives could push it over 10 billion within 3 years, given the military and intelligence community interest. Uncle Jack's face had turned an interesting shade of purple. This is a joke. Has to be a joke. David's company is worthless. We looked at their financials last year. The financials you saw, Sarah replied coolly, were deliberately limited. Mr. Peterson has been operating in stealth mode, developing technology that makes traditional quantum computing obsolete. She pulled up a holographic display from her tablet, filling the air with complex quantum algorithms. This is what $7 billion of revolutionary technology looks like. Mom's hands trembled as she pulled up CNBC on her phone, where the news was already breaking. Breaking. Amazon acquires AI startup QuantumFlow for $7.2 billion. Tech world stunned by quantum computing breakthrough. Unknown startup becomes Silicon Valley's biggest success story of the year. Pentagon sources. QuantumFlow Technology, changes everything. Stock market surge. Amazon shares jump 12% on quantum computing news. But you work out of a garage. Peter protested, his legal expertise suddenly seeming very small. I drove past it last month. It looks abandoned. A garage with 3 quantum computers and the most advanced AI testing facility on the West Coast, I corrected. Though I suppose it doesn't look as impressive as your law firm's marble lobby. We spent our money on innovation, not decoration. Sarah nodded approvingly. The facility's modesty was actually one of the things that impressed us. Most of your competitors wasted millions on fancy offices while you invested everything in the technology. Your quantum coherence breakthrough alone is worth billions. That's why you lived like a... Uncle Jack trailed off, realization dawning as years of condescension crumbled. Like a failure? I finished for him. I lived modestly because every dollar went into development. That worthless code, you offered $500,000 for? We had already turned down $2 billion from Google. I paused, letting that sink in. And $3 billion from Microsoft. Dad's hands shook as he tried to clean up his spilled wine, the red liquid spreading across imported marble like the blood of their dying assumptions. Son, why didn't you tell us? Would you have understood? Every time I tried to explain the technology, you talked over me about real business. I turned to Sarah. The documents? She handed me the tablet, its holographic display showing contract terms that made Peter's law partner salary look like pocket change. Once you sign, you'll be joining our board of directors as Chief Innovation Officer. Your team will have unlimited resources to continue development. The president has already requested a briefing. Chief Innovation. Mom whispered, her tennis bracelet clicking against her water glass. Yes, the Amazon CEO smiled. At 28, your son will be the youngest C-level executive in Amazon's history. The quantum computing division will operate with complete autonomy under his direction. Peter was frantically Googling on his phone, his lawyer's practiced composure cracking. This says the technology could be worth over $50 billion within 5 years. The military applications alone are classified, I cut in. Like most of what we've been developing while you thought I was playing with computers. The quantum encryption capabilities alone have the NSA completely redesigning their protocols. Emma had stopped posting on Instagram, her influencer lifestyle suddenly seeming trivial. But you drive a 10-year-old Honda. Because flashy cars don't write better code, I replied. Though I did buy the building your favorite boutique is in. And most of that block. Amazing what you can do with quiet money. The Amazon CEO checked his watch. The press conference is in an hour. The market's already reacting to the rumors. We should finalize this. Uncle Jack stood up abruptly, wine dripping from his custom suit. Now wait just a minute. As the head of this family's technology interests, I should be involved in any negotiations. Like you were involved in offering $500,000 for a $7 billion company? Sarah asked pointedly. Please sit down, Mr. Peterson. The adults are doing business now. 6 months later, I stood in my glass office at the new quantum computing center. The building hummed with powerful quantum cores, far beyond old servers. Screens behind me showed data from QuantumFlow systems worldwide. Climate models changed fast, medicine advanced by seconds, and markets moved with new algorithms. These numbers proved every doubt and mockery wrong. Your family is here for the investment meeting, my assistant said. Send them in, I replied, still looking at the sunrise. They entered like kids in trouble. Uncle Jack wore cheap suits, shoulders heavy with defeat. Peter looked nervous. Aunt Margaret's diamonds were gone, replaced by simple pearls. Welcome to the future, I said, turning to face them. The conference table lit up with data, worth more than their entire company. Uncle Jack started, about our cloud division. You mean what's left? I interrupted. Screens showed their companies fall in detail. Market share below 5%. Clients leaving. Tech 3 generations behind ours. We can adapt, Peter said weakly. You already signed contracts to use our QuantumFlow systems. Traditional tech is dead. The screens showed quantum adoption growing like stars across the world. My assistant says military contracts past $12 billion, I added. The NSA wants next-gen quantum encryption. China made an offer too. That's enough, I stopped the hologram. Mom wiped tears. We could lose everything. You already have, I said gently. You'll be bankrupt in 6 months. Your clients and talent are leaving some to us. Silence filled the room. Unless, I said, walking around the table, you accept help from your failing son. Uncle Jack looked up. Help. A full upgrade. QuantumFlow integration, retraining, client support. For 90% ownership. 90%, he whispered. The same you demanded from me years ago. But this deal saves you, not strips you. If we refuse? Peter asked. I'll offer your competitor 70%. They never laughed at my dreams. Aunt Margaret flinched at that. My assistant reappeared. Saudi fund offers 100 billion. Decline it, I said. We don't take money from those who called us worthless. Family included. Uncle Jack's face shifted from pride to shame to acceptance. You'd really help us? I'm a businessman. Your company has value, under new management. And us? Dad asked quietly. You keep board seats with 10% no exec roles. Plus training if you want. Peter scoffed. Learn? From you. From the future, I said. The table showed their company reborn, but at the cost of pride. The offer ends in 24 hours. I have a Nobel call now. They left humbled. Dad stayed by the window looking at the research center below. Son, we were wrong about you. No, you were wrong about what matters. Money is easy with vision. Changing the world takes more. I watched crews build the quantum center. Dreamers dismissed before, now shaping reality 1 qubit at a time. The sunset lit the center gold, reflecting the future. Tomorrow the Nobel announcement. Next week quantum computing made a national priority. Next month my family's company would be reborn. I smiled thinking of Uncle Jack's wine cellar. Expensive bottles now worth less than 1 quantum node. Some things age better than others. The future arrived from the garage they called worthless.